What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and I'm joined by my co-host, my sister, Dorothy.
That's not what I said, but what's up?
No?
No.
What? My sister, what?
It was I'm not hearing you say it. Dorothea.
Dorothea.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. My sister, Dorothea. And welcome to 3D Rivals at the Bar, where we are talking about legal-related movies. Mm-hmm. And this week, we're going to be talking about Runaway Jury. This was in 2003?
2003.
Yep. Yeah. Starring Gene Hackman and...
John Cusack and...
Man, I forget his name. I know the guy's name.
Dennis Hoffman.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Which actually turned out to be an interesting story. I have to say, when the movie started, I was like, how can you make this interesting? I'm like, they're talking about jury selection and stuff, yeah. And I was like, I don't know. But then as it continued on, I was like, okay, this story got a little bit interesting, and I think by the end, I did not see the route it went.
Okay.
By the end of it,
I think for a lot of movie, I kept saying to myself, "Where are they going with this?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, because when it opens, when it opens, it's like it opens a guy's. He's at a birthday party for his kid. He's going to work, and then he's at the office, and the office gets shot up, and I'm like, what?
Okay, yeah. All right, so live shooting in the office, and I'm like, this dude, did you follow any proper procedure? This is not how you act during an active shooting. He's walking out the door, standing right in the hallway where the guy is shooting.
It's 2003. He's not used to it yet.
Bro, I don't care what year it is. Lock your door and get under the desk.
They haven't had active shooter training yet. So we have that at work now. But in 2003, they didn't have that.
I mean, I guess so. I guess that's how that goes.
Yeah. So, but like watching it, I was like, where are we going with this? Especially because it was like that guy from The Practice.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, hey, he's in this movie. Then it turns out he's not in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. And we're also joined by our brother Derek.
What's up, everybody?
He's on the podcast this time as well. We're just introducing the Runaway Jury.
Yeah, so I was coming in and I heard y'all talk about the beginning of the shooting.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure. I was like, where is this movie going?
Everybody's saying
that's exactly that the entire time. I'm like, where are we going?
Well, I was like, oh, is this the case? Because I know it's going to be about a court case. And I was like, oh, is this going to be the case convicting the murderer or something like that? Right? But that's not where it's going.
No.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So yeah, there was a lot of that about where it's going, and then we have our main characters, Nick,
Easter,
mm-hmm. And then Marley, his accomplice, which we don't know. Nick Easter is like the protagonist. I guess he's the protagonist.
He is, and that leads to, I guess, one of my problems with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care for the protagonist. Like, this entire time, at the end of it, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't have been mad if Gene Hackman won.
I was actually more for the lawyer.
Who, Dennis Hoffman?
Yeah.
He needed a little bit more to do.
He did.
I was rooting for him, though.
Yeah. But it was just like at the end, because we don't learn, like, the entire time, Nick Easter is sort of like an enigma. We really don't know who he is, why he's doing what he's doing, and until the very end.
Yeah.
And so when we got to the very end, I was just like, at this point, I don't care about him or Marley.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, I was like, I don't know. I'd have been okay if Gene Hackman won out.
I don't know. I didn't like Gene Hackman, so no.
I
was at least against Gene Hackman.
I don't know. I was just like, they just didn't really make me like their characters.
Okay. Well, how they presented him first, it was somebody who didn't want to be on the jury.
Mm-hmm.
And that's someone who I still didn't watch this entire show, but I recently was watching that show I told you about, Jury Duty.
Mm-hmm.
I instantly thought of that because of how he was in the beginning.
Yeah. Like he's acting like
it's
he
like the
didn't
Madden challenge. And I was like, what year is this? And I was like, it was 2003. Even though it seems older, but that is 20. Yeah, but I'm like, that is 21 years ago.
Yeah, it was flip phones back then. We didn't have like smartphones until 2010s.
Yeah. And I was like, the Madden challenge came out in the 2000s.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, his little act got him on the jury, which was his plan in the first place. Now, speaking of everyone else, both sides, you got the lawyers, the one for the defense, which I call the Senator Kelly, because that's where I remember him from, because he was in X-Men.
Okay.
Well, the girl is from Black Widow.
Yeah, she's Black Widow's mother.
Yeah, but she's been in a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but yeah.
Yeah, she's more than just Black Widow.
So,
Born Identity, I think.
Probably Born Identity.
Yeah.
No, wait, no,
she was not in Born Identity.
Yes, she was.
Which
I might not be saying the right one.
Legacy?
A Born movie? I don't know. But anyhow, both sides, both the prosecution and the defense, they are getting, what did they call them? Jury consultants?
Yeah.
Now,
in quotations.
What was interesting, now I get why Gene Hackman's firm was still there, but I'm like, if it's a jury consultant, isn't it like, aren't they just used for selecting your jury members? Why were they still there after the fact? Now, Gene Hackman, his firm was there to kind of ensure that the defense won the case.
Yeah, they were just straight up cheating.
Yeah. But, but they were there as jury consultants, which is fine. The other guy, I was like, why are you still here?
It was the Born Legacy.
I was Born Legacy.
Yeah, so it's the one no one cared about.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
Oh, that's the one with, what's his face?
Jeremy Renner.
Oh, okay, I did not watch that one.
Yeah, you didn't miss a thing.
I did watch it. And
it's bad.
It's bad.
Okay.
It will not be a 3D Rivals.
It will not. Like, at all.
All right. So, but anyhow, you have these consultants and they're like picking jurors so that, which gives each side the best chance to win the case. Which I get why both lawyers get to select the jurors. And I don't have a suggestion of a better way to do this, but like it seems really messed up to be like, I'm going to select these because they're definitely going to be on my side, And
it's like,
it should be a random selection of people.
It was definitely done extremely, and I mean, I know it's for the movie, but I'm like, they do that, though. Yeah. It's just like you want to get as many jurors that's going to be on your side of viewpoint. Yeah, I learned that with the OJ docu-series with Gooden.
Oh yeah,
Cuba Gooden.
Yeah, did you watch that?
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh man,
that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So so both of them are there, but Gene Hackman's side, which Fitch is his name. I don't know why I keep going. Everybody else is their character's name. Gene Hackman. So Fitch, he's got this whole group of people and then a secret layer underneath
cameras and suitcases.
Yeah, they're spying on people.
He's got hitmen and stuff.
Yeah, it's real extra.
Real extra. I mean, that's why I'm like, I couldn't root for him to win. I
just really didn't like John Cusack's character. Even at the end, where he's like, "Oh, that's why you were doing this," I still don't like you.
I liked it.
I mean, I thought it was a good character. Yeah. He was, he had his point of being manipulative, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like him.
Okay. But so first watching this, you think it's gonna be basically the jury being controlled by Fitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out, I thought there was a bit of a twist, especially since they first started off with Easter not wanting to be on the jury or seeming like it. But no, so Nick Easter and his accomplice Marley, they're like, oh, we control the jury, and then we want money from either one of the sides. Like, we can turn the jury to be for the prosecution or the defense.
I thought that was a nice twist.
Yeah, because I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that coming either.
Yeah. I definitely thought it was just going to be, how do we stop Gene Hackman from, controlling the jury? And I mean, it's kind of that, but
yeah, but at the end it was like, I can play both sides. But I guess at the end it turns out he really had no intentions of that. He was just trying to get as much money as he could. Yeah. Whether either side gave it to him, it didn't matter.
Yeah. So I think there's a bit of a side to that, but when I get to the end of the movie, I'll talk about it. But yeah, which during this time I was like, it don't seem like a good idea, to basically be like, yeah, pay me and I could just flip this case either. So I'm like, this can go bad in so many ways.
A lot of
ways. This would never be a way that I think of trying to make some money.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, no.
I also feel like you can only get away with this once.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then especially messing with people like Fitch's whole crew and stuff, I'm like, this don't seem like a good play. Actually, the movie ends, and then I'm like, are we sure these people still gonna be alive?
I was waiting for either Fitch or one of them to get sniped because like Fitch, like the group he was messing with, I'm like, man, dude, you're dead for losing this case.
And we didn't mention what the case was about. So, because we said we thought it was going to be like the murder trial or whatever, but no, the shooter killed himself. So the trial is them trying to hold the gun manufacturer responsible, which is a touchy subject even down to this day.
Yeah, which they're saying it was too easily for him to get guns, and then it was like the ability to buy so many.
And I think one point that to me, the only thing that would make it them even have a chance was that the gun manufacturer knew what was happening and did nothing to stop it.
Yeah. I would say, not to really touch on the gun issue, but like holding a company responsible for something someone else does with their product is like, I'm like, that's shaky ground. Like, I wouldn't have you sue Ford for somebody running someone over with a F-150.
That's exactly the example I think of. Was like, if someone runs me over, I can't sue Chevy. And I think the only difference is that they were saying they were negligent because they saw what was happening and did nothing to stop it.
Right. And then that's the point where it kind of turns, where it's like, okay, I think they have a leg to stand on here. Yeah. Because they mentioned the shop was franchised out by the manufacturer, and they knew that he was selling hundreds of guns to one person. Yeah. Which is like, come on. And not even for you to do a check. Like, okay, maybe he's a collector. Maybe. I mean, okay. But you're not going to have a red flag about that. Yeah. And in fact, you awarded the shop owner for doing it, which is like, okay, so you kind of did support this,
And then we fast forward a little bit. He also had a witness that was supposed to come forward to also testify. So that's another thing too, that he was going to testify against the company's actions.
Yeah, there was a whistleblower.
Yeah, so that there's more than just them being responsible for someone else's actions.
Yeah.
Right.
And I instantly thought, I was like, there's more regulations on alcohol. Like, at a certain proof, you only can buy so much.
Yeah.
I mean, where they cut you off and say like, hey, no, I don't care if you reselling this or if you drinking it for your own entertainment. This is the limit of alcohol volume you can buy. And it's like, we have that type of regulation for alcohol.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of like the route that they went with that, right? Yep. So it's not just solely holding the company responsible for someone else's actions. We use the car manufacturer thing. So, you know, if Ford knew that one of their dealers was like fixing cars incorrectly, you know, something like that, and they did know about it,
right?
And they sanctioned. They're like, oh well, this is putting more F-150s out on the road. Go, you know, go ahead and do it. Then at that point, yes, you do bear some responsibility, right? So yeah, I'm glad they went that route and not like another way.
Yeah.
So then you actually have a case. This obviously would be a civil case, not a criminal one, because I was wondering that as well when it first started. I'm like, because first I was wondering if they would have a jury for this trial, but then you know, for this kind of civil case, they may. Yeah. So yeah, we got to meet all the jurors. Interesting bunch. They made this big deal in the beginning about the blind guy, but then I feel like they didn't use him in the movie.
Yeah, that was it.
A lot of the jurors, they made a big deal about like their lives and stuff, and I don't know if maybe they intended, because the movie was kind of short.
It was 2 hours.
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
Oh, felt kind of short. It felt kind of short because it felt like you said, like they made a big deal about the blind guy. They made a big deal about Herrera, who was supposed to be like this intimidating figure. Turns out not really. So it was just, they made a big deal about a lot of the jurors. We really didn't get to see much about them at all.
Yeah,
I wonder if like maybe they were more delved out in the book.
Probably.
Because I'm like, you only have so much.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the book we got so much detail about all of these people. Maybe I might have felt better about them.
Yeah. That's possible. Yeah. But after this, we get to see how Easter kind of used his manipulation to control the jury. So you got it where Marley delayed their lunch, so he had the judge buy them lunch and stuff, making it seem kind of like it's not him, but kind of really is him. You know, suggesting that I forget the guy's name, but the guy who was blind, suggesting he be the what do you call it?
Foreman.
The foreman of the jury. That's what I'm saying. We never used him as the foreman of the jury at any point in this movie.
Yeah, like show me why that was supposed to be important.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you still established that.
Yeah, it takes the attention off of him at least. Because it would be very eye-opening if, like, okay, if he fought to be the foreman, but it's just like, okay, have him be the foreman, but he can still get away with doing things because one, the guy is blind, and then two, he's able to move behind the scenes.
A couple of things about that. One, I don't know why the judge had a problem with a blind person being on the jury. Why would that be an issue? Can he not listen? Because you're not supposed to judge the people based on the way they look anyway, which is a problem sometimes with juries, right? So, like, why would it be like, but your disability, and it's like, he's just blind. I think he could be on a jury.
Yeah.
And then they said the same thing about him being foreman. At first, everyone's like, oh, but he's blind. And I'm like, but
why does it matter? I mean, I guess if there's visual aids or whatever, you know, sometimes they like to
the visuals,
play a movie or, you know, something. I don't know.
Someone can describe it to him. I don't know.
It didn't seem important at all.
No. Yeah. So I guess this is when they contact each side and they basically proposition them like $10 million to buy the jury. Which the prosecution doesn't pay attention to that much until they get desperate. Then Fitch's side, they're like on it, right?
I feel like they're on it, but more of, I think this when we start maybe like that little cat and mouse between him and Nick Easter. It's like they're willing to pay, but it didn't get away without paying.
Right. Yeah. That's why they kept doing things to like, let's see how they getting their information. How is he influencing the other jurors?
The way they figured out it was Nick, I'm like, oh, first of all, the cameras, man. My goodness. Because to show their strength on the phone, they're like, oh, like, I hope you're feeling patriotic. And Nick, in a way, influenced the jury to do the Pledge of Allegiance before the next day of the trial. And so that kind of just showed him like, okay, he is actually influencing this, but they still didn't know it was him. But then they just noticed like one person, like
she squeezed his hand,
squeezing Nick's hand, and it's like, it's him. And I'm like, man, these dudes, like, yeah. So they like break into my dude's apartment, trash it, break into it again,
set on fire.
If I'm Nick, because I guess he had files on an MP3 player. Do you keep that after they break in your house the first time?
Right.
Do you keep that in your house still?
You do not.
I feel like it's a little, you know how like sometimes people just get too cocky, and it's just like, oh, he broke in, he couldn't find it because who's gonna look to see on my MP3 player?
But the thing is, this group of people, they are proven to be relentless.
Yeah, I just took it as the mistake was made because he was cocky about it. Yeah. Because he's thinking like, okay, you broke in and you didn't find nothing.
I mean, but that's like if someone breaks into my house and I don't change the locks.
Yeah.
True.
And then they're looking for this kind of information. Right. It's not, I'm not saying like he takes all his stuff out of his apartment. I'm saying, hey, that one thing that we definitely don't want them to find.
Yeah. But
maybe we
Yeah.
But in his defense though, after your house get broken into, do you expect the same people to break in your house again?
Where we
still, I might.
I'm not saying your house get broken in more than once. I said by the same person.
Okay, maybe not, but
you
still,
know this group though. This isn't a random event.
Yeah. I get you.
And then, but still, I would want to. I'm like, well, I need to move this to a more secure location. Exactly. Period. Just because, like they got close.
Yeah, they got close. You know what they're looking for. You know they didn't find it.
But maybe you feel like they're watching you, and you don't want to get caught with it on you.
Well, they're not gonna rob him.
No, he don't have to carry it. Well, first of all, it's an iPod. Well, maybe he can't take it into the courtroom.
No.
Also, man, first generation iPods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
And only hold 200 songs.
But his girl had an apartment. Marley had an apartment. You could have just given it to her.
Right, because they didn't know where she was or anything about her at all.
Not at that point, which I'm pretty sure they found out because of the MP3 player. I forgot what they got off of that, actually.
Yeah, what did they get off?
Was it his real name?
Yeah, they found out the juries he was looking up.
Oh yeah, because that's how they found out he was chasing gun cases. Because he tried it in Cincinnati and he tried it again somewhere else, Boston or something.
Yeah,
that's how they found out he was chasing gun cases.
Yeah, he didn't get on the jury in any of those.
Yeah.
So yeah. Wait. Don't you gotta be a resident and register? How quickly can you do that?
We're gonna talk about that.
Okay, I'm like, cause like, did you just move to Louisiana? Like, you saw the shooting happen and you're like, yeah, let's go.
Right.
Just live in Louisiana for a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if that worked out, but okay, we'll talk about it. Yeah, so they do that. They burn my dude's apartment down. I'm like, that's why I was like, I don't know. And when it was for the money, when it seemed like it was for the money, I was like, why do this? I'm still at this point in the movie, I'm still wondering for Nick and Marley, why do this?
Like, there's another way to get money.
Yeah. I'm like, this seems really weird. And then it's like, what if you can't flip the jury? I mean, like, you may be really good at manipulating people, but, you know.
Yeah.
So. But all right, so you got that, and then we get when the prosecution, I can't pronounce that guy's last name. Roar. Yeah, Roar.
Roar.
Yeah, something like that. they start getting desperate because his witness doesn't show up. Mm-hmm. Right, he's feeling the pressure from Nick and them, mm-hmm. and basically it just really seems like it's gonna go the other way. Right, the jury probably gonna go the other way, so he starts actually considering paying for it. Mm-hmm. Which I'm like, his firm gave him $10 million.
I'm guessing they got that paper like that because he was saying how easy it was that they was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But think about it. If they win, how much money does that bring in for their firm? That $10 million would mean nothing for them.
Well, yeah, we think about the verdict.
And
clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clients coming to them.
Yep. Because that's the number one thing.
Yeah.
You win a high profile case, the publicity that they give you.
Yeah. So, you got that going on. They're getting closer and closer to Marley and who she is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because she agrees to meet with them.
Yeah, that's when she wanted to offer their terms. But when they found the MP3 player is when they started investigating Nick Easter's background. And that's how they ended up in Indiana.
Yeah.
And found out
who she was.
Yeah.
Which that comes to at the end. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of stuff in the middle of the movie. Like, is there much for me to talk about?
No, it's just mostly that cat and mouse between them two.
Yeah,
there is nothing significant that we're skipping over.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we'll get towards the end. So it turns out, they find out that Marley, whose name is
Margaret.
Was it Margaret? No, I thought Margaret died. I thought she was the other.
Because they were twins.
Gabby. Yeah.
No, they were Irish twins.
Which means they weren't really twins.
Okay.
I guess. I never heard of Irish twins, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
is that a thing? No, that's a thing? Oh. Didn't know that was a thing?
Yes.
What are Irish twins?
I'm guessing it's people that just look like they could be twins, but not. Okay. That's going to be my guess.
No, I don't think that. I want to verify because what I think it is might not be
born on the same day, different years.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Is no. Okay, so I had it right. It's when one mother has two kids born less than 12 months apart.
Oh.
Because she explained it. She said they're Irish twins because they were less than a year apart, but they were in separate grades.
Oh. Okay.
Because they would be the same age. Depending on how it falls, because it's like, let's say you have a kid in September and then you have the other kid in February.
You can have a kid in less than you can have 2 kids within 12 months.
Yeah. Yes. You can.
Within no, how?
Sorry.
It could be
not within 12 months, but they're 12 months or less apart.
Yeah. That's the thing.
They're 12 months or less apart. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, let's say, like, you have
they
a
could
kid.
Be 9 or 10 months apart.
Exactly. You have this one kid, and you turn around and have another kid.
Jesus.
Yeah. It could be let's say she got pregnant a month and a half after she had the kid.
Yeah.
Yes, still, yeah.
I mean,
that's and they would be different ages. Like I said, if you had one in the fall,
be different ages.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, because it can happen in the same year.
Yeah, they can be born in the same.
Yeah, let's say you had the one kid in February, and then the next kid was born in October.
Having a kid in January and then having a kid in December.
That's insane, right?
Yeah.
That's insane. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we learned something today. What Irish twins are.
Right. Yeah.
Did not know.
Yeah. I have heard the term, but didn't know what that meant. Okay.
All right, but it turns out that Gabby, her real name, and Jeff being the real name for Nick Easter, they were a part of a school shooting, right? So they and Margaret, Gabby's sister, died in that shooting. Mm-hmm. So they were never going to try and flip the jury to the gun manufacturer side. The plan was always to try and persuade them to go against the gun manufacturer. Mm-hmm. And I think he did do a good job of that when he was at the jury, especially by getting the one dude to...
Right, I agree with his
argument. Well, he saw that he was easy to bait.
But my thing is, Herrera, to me, like, his reasoning, to me, just he was like, I deserve more and she doesn't deserve anything. Yeah. To me, I felt like it would have made more sense for him to stand on the Second Amendment. Mm-hmm. Because that's where it all lands or not. Yeah. And for him to be like, she doesn't deserve anything. I fought and no one's gave me anything. I just felt like that argument's not valid because you could say that about any case at any time. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where he was. And I find it believable because there are people like that. I'm not saying that it would have been a better argument for him to try and use Second Amendment for it. It definitely would have been. But there are people like that. That's like, no, they don't deserve anything. Why should they get something? You hear it all the time.
I know there's people like that. To me, it came out of nowhere for his character. Because I just felt like he's the army guy and all of this. It just, to me, and then it's like his reasoning for him saying no was simply because he felt like he deserved more money than she does.
Or she shouldn't get money just because she went through something bad is basically what he said. Yeah. Which I was, first of all, during that argument, I'm like, yo, that's a BS, bro. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, we all go through bad things. I'm like, okay, did your spouse get shot in like a mass shooting? I'm sorry, bro. I don't think it's the same, you know? And then, I hate those kind of arguments because it's like, let's hold some people accountable, right? Mm-hmm. Like, talking about yes, will she be the one to get money and benefit from it? Sure, whatever. Whether or not you think she deserves, the verdict was $112 million. Mm-hmm. A lot of money. Mm-hmm. Whether or not you think she deserves that or not, I think the point isn't for her to get that money. And in any civil cases, that's the important thing. There was a recent high-profile civil case where it was a high money verdict on that. And the point is not to pay the plaintiff,
but to punish the wrongdoer.
But yes, so that's why you have those high dollar amounts. It just happens to go to whoever the plaintiff is.
Yeah, it has to go to someone. Yeah. Because it's just like, she didn't go in and be like, yes, sue this company for hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a sense of something needs to be done and someone has to be punished for this act of being done.
So let me ask you this, though. So if Herrera goes the Second Amendment route, do you think Nick has a way to turn the jury around on it?
No, because I think someone else in the room said, it's like, what does the law say?
Yep.
And then really,
it was the blind man.
The law says is they're not at fault for this.
Right.
And then, like, if you really...
But my thing is, they argue Second Amendment on this. And I'm like, does the Second Amendment actually have a place in this particular case? Now, Second Amendment is you have a right to have firearms, right?
Yeah.
That's not the argument that the plaintiff's making.
I think, but here's why I say yes. Because remember, the plaintiff wasn't able to fully prove their case because they lost their number one witness. Mm-hmm. So you can only argue the facts that was presented to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't get any fact clearly that says that this company was negligent.
You did have them reward the shop owner with a trip to Cancun.
But is that any different than McDonald's saying, hey, thanks for selling 1 billion burgers today. Here's a bonus.
Sure. Okay. All right.
So it's like you have to prove your case. I think that kind of goes back to OJ. OJ got off, not because OJ's super guilty.
Yeah.
But the prosecutors didn't prove their case.
Which is how the court works.
So in this instance... They did not prove that, what was the name of Trihorn or whatever, guns, did anything wrong.
Mm-hmm. They didn't.
No, they didn't. They didn't prove, because they definitely needed that witness, that whistleblower to say, like, hey, we knew they were selling this to someone that's been selling them illegally or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they were complicit in that. Yeah. You did need that. And yeah, you're right. They didn't prove it. So I do see that. I don't see why people are arguing Second Amendment for this. Because to me, it's still not a part of the case. Nobody is saying that
That is true.
That like it should have been taken away from people, but well, no, they always use it if you have any kind of regulation on who can have it. Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's going to come up.
Yeah, but okay. But anyhow, Nick does convince him because it turns out Herrera wasn't about the law. I think that was his point because Herrera did start with that argument, right?
Yes.
You know, oh, it's the law. But I think Nick knew that deep down it was more of
him just being bitter.
Yeah. Yep. And he drugged that out of him, and that's what turned the rest of the jury.
And throughout the movie, he did subtle stuff to make Herrera second guess Nick. So I took it as that no matter which way Nick went, he was going to go the opposite of. Just because he was starting to dislike Nick and was feeling that Nick was going to persuade everyone else.
Well, especially since Herrera also knew that Nick came in with an agenda.
Yeah.
Clearly, which he did. So.
Yeah.
But so it turns out, so that was the plan the whole time, and they actually did win this case. In real life, this case doesn't. Well, I mean, this is 2003. We're in 2024. We know this case does not go this route.
Not at all.
No. So that's not how it would happen. And yeah, they end the movie with them very happy. They got $15 million from Fitch. I still say, watch your back, because that was a gun manufacturer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're dead. They're gonna die in some way, shape, or form.
The witness
disappeared. A witness. You guys are dead.
The number one, they had a whistleblower and he did not come to court.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find him.
I mean, look, I'm pretty sure if we double cross McDonald's in the wrong way, we're gonna be dead. Pretty sure that's what's gonna happen.
There's just some companies.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know if y'all should be happy, or I hope y'all got
change
the money
y'all
sent
name
to the
again.
Caymans. You better move to the Caymans.
Something. Yeah, but no, they were gonna give it to their hometown.
Yeah.
Which
all 15 million?
Apparently, but that's not gonna do nothing.
Yeah, for a city, that's kind of nothing.
That ain't nothing.
Well, they said for the families. So how
they
many
did
families?
Say that.
Okay.
You can give a meal to
each family, and that would do a lot.
Okay. Yeah. I was just like.
They did say the affected families in the hometown.
Oh, okay. I'm like 15 million. That's like 2 streets.
Yeah. So
depending on how small the town, though.
It was a small town. I forgot how many they said died in that shooting.
You know what? I did not write that down. I don't think if it did or not.
But yeah, you got the 15 mil. You can give a mil. This is 2003 too, so the million is.
It goes longer.
It goes longer. So they can do that. Still, I say I don't.
Yeah,
move.
Like disappear.
Yeah.
For sure.
Move to Japan. I like.
Yeah, because I'm not sure Fitch might be around too much longer.
I kept waiting for him to die in some fashion. Either I was like, he gonna drop and have a heart attack and I'm gonna be in at him, or that he's gonna get sniped when he walk out that bar.
Yeah. Well, they also blackmailed him, so they have the copy of him paying to try and pay off the jury, which I guess they wouldn't. One is going to the Caymans, so you can't tie it back to them.
But how can you?
And they're not. They weren't using their real names.
They weren't using their real names.
You can't prove that he used that 15 million to bribe the jury.
That's true. How do you know that money was wired for the jury?
He wired. I'm sorry. Yeah, 15 million to the Caymans. You will have to prove he was using that for that.
They're gonna have to give some more information.
Then they have to give themselves up.
Maybe.
And then don't they also go to jail?
Yeah.
Sure.
But Fitch doesn't seem like the type of person that would want to risk that anyway.
He also doesn't seem the person that would be scared by that. He's always been the smartest person in the room until now.
Because he lost.
Yeah, he also lost that case. So,
yeah.
I think that adds more to it because he lost the case.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's basically it. That's the movie.
Yeah.
So any random movie facts?
Some. This was based off a 1996 John Grisham novel, The Runaway Jury.
Oh, okay, John Grisham.
Yep. I actually haven't read this book.
I haven't either. I was surprised. I was like, wow, I didn't read this one.
See, I gotta start reading these books before we watch the movie because now I'm not gonna go back and read this book.
Well, now I want to go back and read the book because I have so many questions about the characters that we have no information.
But see, you're a person that will read the end of the book first. I don't like. See, now I know technically how it ends. Maybe the book ends differently, but like
I read the end of the book to let me know if I need to continue reading it.
No, no. I don't want to know what happens in the story.
I do, because if I'm like, man, get to the point already. I read the end and be like, oh, okay, all right, it's worth me continuing.
Okay.
All right, so I don't know. I'm gonna read it. It's probably at the library. Okay, but in the book, the case was about they were suing a tobacco company.
Ah, why did they change it to guns?
Why do I feel like I have read this?
I don't know why you feel like you have read it.
Because you mentioned no, because you mentioning that sounds familiar.
Yeah. So apparently they changed it to guns because there was another movie in '99 that was about people suing a tobacco company. So they felt like, okay, we just did this, so they changed it to a gun company.
I feel like the tobacco lawsuit has more.
It has more standing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Because I can hold you responsible for the deaths of people. Because you're selling an item that kills people.
Yes.
Yes. And you know it kills people.
Right. That's not supposed to kill people. Obviously, guns kill people too. But like.
Yeah. You don't present cigarettes to me as something that will eventually kill me.
Yeah.
You say you want to be cool, smoke.
Yeah.
You don't tell me that once I start, I can't stop.
Yeah.
And that is killing me. Yeah. Okay. So my last random movie fact is, to your point. No, you just cannot just get yourself on a jury like this. Most districts has that you have to be residing in that county and a registered voter for at least a year.
Yeah.
Before you, and he had only been on the scene for a couple of months because when they did the initial background, it's like Nick Easter didn't have a background.
So he just made up this person. Nick
just
Easter.
made up that person and got on the jury. Would never happen. Yes. Okay, nitpicks. So initially, the late lunch ploy that he did, I felt like someone would have noted that the jury hadn't eaten yet. Like the lady bailiff that was guarding them is 1:30. You know the jurors didn't get their lunch. It's getting delivered to them.
Yeah.
She will be looking around. Nick can not just walk out that room and go talk to the judge. That's not happening.
Yeah, the juror shouldn't be talking to the judge.
Yeah, and then the bailiff lady would have been like, oh my goodness, you guys haven't eaten. She would have called the restaurant. The restaurant would have been like, y'all told us 2 o'clock. Like that, the whole thing just doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Okay. So for Rankin and them Fitches and them crew, his henchman kind of sucks.
Yeah, they do. Like, is this the second lawyer movie where we had some henchmen be trash? So we said the same thing in The Firm.
Yeah, like the henchmen are just not good at their jobs. I'm like, dude, you letting these people beat you up, and they're everyday regular people.
Yeah, because Marley did straight up.
Marley told that dude up.
Yeah, even before, like, he got the better of her a bit at the end. But even before then, I was like, she's getting in him.
Yeah, just didn't make any sense. And then when Nick comes back and finds the guy in his apartment, I was like, his crew didn't tell him the jury was letting out early? Like, bruh, like the dude has a cell phone. Call this man and tell him he needs to get out of there.
Yeah.
Just, didn't make any sense.
Yeah, because I was like, then he doesn't get caught.
He doesn't, exactly. Just, okay, my last nitpick. I don't know how wire transfers work. But you can stop them or undo them or something, right? Like, once you transfer the money, is that it?
I think so.
Really? There's no stop check button?
Yeah, if it does go through.
Yeah, if it's
once it goes through.
Yeah, if the transfer is going through, you can't stop it.
You can't undo it after the transfer has gone through.
Yeah.
Why would I ever wire transfer anything?
Because
that is too risky.
Companies ask for it because then they know they have their money. That's why you always see the criminal wire it to us.
Yeah.
Because we know right then and there we have our money. And for the reason that you can't undo it.
Right.
Like a credit card transaction. Yeah, that's why they ask for it on the wire.
Yeah.
Man, nah, it needs to work like credit cards where I can call them and be like, nope, guess what? I'm not paying these people.
No, I feel it.
Not pay people.
I feel it because it shouldn't, like, it's very difficult for someone to make a fraudulent wire transaction. And but I mean, even so, if you went through the fraud team, I'm pretty sure you can get it reversed. But I
just feel like there's
a lot of work.
Where it's like, let's say somebody's like working on your house and you pay them, and then the wall fall down. I'm like, nah.
But why would you be wiring that?
Yeah.
People don't wire things like that.
No. But people are wiring millions of dollars.
I'm just saying, I need.
You're not wiring a couple of thousand.
I need to be able to call the credit union and be like, look, that money I just sent, send that back.
Well, even if you're wiring a couple thousand, I'm not wiring it to the roofing company. It's usually used for like investments and stuff.
Yo, I need an undo button on wire transfers. All right, that was all I had.
It's called know what you're doing with your money.
Fair enough.
All right, so were you rating the movie?
Yeah.
After watching it, I gave it a higher rating than I am going to give it after we talked about the movie. I'm gonna give this a watch while folding clothes. It's an okay movie. I didn't mind it. Some of the plot's kind of.
I was on the fence for a long time. Like, do I like this movie? Do I not like this movie? It's not a bad movie, but I really don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's a watch while folding clothes.
Yeah.
I was going to give it. I'll pay for that.
I think it's okay.
I enjoyed watching the movie.
Yeah, that was my original thought on it, and then after I thought about it and discussed it, I was like, I'll watch while folding clothes.
Well, the thing is, I will watch it again. I definitely will watch it again.
I can see myself watching it again.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It's like usually with my ranking with watch while folding clothes, it can go either way. Like I don't have to watch this again, but then sometimes it is. But I can watch this movie again more than once.
Remember, watch while folding clothes can still be a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a high watch while folding clothes.
Yeah. So my ranking is I pay for that,
which I think is valid. It's just I'm so on the fence by it. Yeah.
So so I guess that's our rating. A high watch while folding clothes. Which, if you want a numbers rating, that's between a 6 and a 7.9 out of 10. We'll figure out where that is. So yeah. With that being said, that's our thoughts on Runaway Jury. So make sure you stay tuned for more of Three Rivals at the Bar. We've got one more movie to go through. Last week you might have heard Dorothea say that we've taken a long time, but we didn't. The way I paced out our uploads, this is all happening in the month of April. So it's not taking us a couple of months to go through this. And you guys got a peek behind the curtain of when these are recorded. So thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you in the next one.